Hey, it's Tuxedo Mark. It's 9:48 p.m. on Friday, September 24, 2021. And this is my review of the Prisoner episode, Dance of the Dead. Before I start, I want to apologize if you hear any noise in the background. My neighbors have the radio blasting. So, yeah. Hey, Alonso, thanks for joining me. Hey, I'm too bored. Okay. So this episode is the third one in Patrick McGowan's preferred, personal canon of 7 episodes. Or at least that's what the fandom keeps saying. I don't see a source mentioned where he laid it all down that these 7 episodes were the ones that count to him. But I will mention. Okay, well, let me just get into the episode. So after the theme song, there's the typical stock footage, intro type thing where the prisoner, number 6, is talking with number 2. Number 6 is asking questions. Number 2 is answering them or not. Now, in this episode, there's a female number 2. Hey, Arrow. All right, so there's a female number 2, and we actually see her in the introduction, and she's the one that is talking with number 6 in the introduction. And I thought, oh, okay. But apparently, I'm reading on the fandom page, the wiki page, and it says that this is unusual for the series because usually you do not see the female number 2s in the introduction. Like, it isn't spoiled right away. So yeah. Okay, so all right, cool. You want to check it out, Alonso? It's on Tubi. It's a streaming service, TUBITV.com. Yeah, so it's free to watch with ads. It's only 17 episodes. All right. So in this episode, there's a scientist, number 40. He's trying to extract information from number 6. They put some kind of weird contraption on number 6, some, I don't know, metal thing over his head or something. Now, number 6 has a former colleague that is also at the village his name is Roland Walter Dutton, and he's given the number 42. So apparently this is they're trying to do some kind of electronic hypnosis on number 6. Now, the scientist does not have permission from number 2 to do this, and people are cautioning against him hurting number 6 because I guess number 6's safety is their priority or something. Number 2 eventually puts an end to the experiment, but apparently a carnival is coming up in the village as part of the village events, and number 2 wants number 6 to attend. Lucky's excited over something, I don't know. Let's see. Also, number 6 comes across a black cat that's walking around the village. And let's see. He makes an escape attempt, and one of those giant white balloon things. Apparently, it's called a rover, but I haven't heard the name mentioned on the show yet. Yeah, but these giant bouncing white balloons are called rovers, and it stops him. He sleeps on the beach that night, I think. He finds when he wakes up, he finds a dead man's body washed ashore. This guy has a radio, and number 6 takes the radio, tries listening to it, and at first there seems to be like a muffled foreign language channel, but then he gets this mysterious broadcast, and I don't know what it means, but I'm going to read it to you. It says, "Nowhere is there more beauty than here. Tonight, when the moon rises, the whole world will turn to silver. Do you understand? It is important that you understand. I have a message for you. You must listen. The appointment cannot be fulfilled. Other things must be done tonight. If our torment is to end, if liberty is to be restored, we must grasp the nettle, even though it makes our hands bleed. Only through pain can tomorrow be assured." Okay, so later on, number 6 writes a note and sends sends it with the corpse back out to sea on a life ring, and then he hides out in the cave and he meets Dutton and questions him a bit. Apparently, Dutton has told his captors at the village everything that he knows. Anyway, so there's the carnival, and apparently number 6 gets his costume for the carnival sent to him, and it's just his regular dinner jacket. So he takes it as a sign that he's still himself. And he also met this blonde girl that he wanted as like his date to the carnival, but number 2 advised against it. So number 6 is wondering, should he talk to this blonde girl, or is the blonde girl secretly working with them against him? And yeah, it turns out she is his observer for this episode. Because she's in like number 2's headquarters later on. And anyway, at the carnival, there's this thing where he mingles for a bit, and then he dresses up as a doctor, and a nurse supposedly mistakes him for a doctor or a scientist or whatever because he puts on a lab coat and glasses, and she gives him, or he volunteers to take a note for number 2 to her, but he secretly reads it. Apparently it's a notice of termination, and it's got his friend's or his colleague's name written on it. Later on, he gets put on trial in the room at this carnival is being held inside the town hall, which he tried to enter earlier in the episode, but he couldn't. But now he's there apparently with the rest of the village. They put him on trial, and number 2 oddly acts as his defense attorney, and the blonde girl that he met is the prosecutor, and they pick 3 random people in costumes to be judges. It's really weird. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of it, honestly. Anyway, He's sentenced to death, and then he casually walks away. But then he starts running, and they chase after him. And he escapes into a back room. He finds some damages a teletype machine. Apparently, that's what it's called, a teletype machine. It might be a way of the village and number one communicating with each other, since number two is the head honcho that we always see in every episode. Presumably, there's a number one. And indeed, number 6 always asks number 2 who is number 1 in the little introductions at the beginning of each episode. Anyway, he evades the mob, but number 2 is there. Oh, and the cat is hers as well, and the cat works for her. So she informs him, oh, they know you're already dead. And he's been informed that he's dead a few times throughout this episode. And that's part of what feeds into his theory that he was poisoned in the theme song, and he's slowly dying, and the entire series is like his last dying delirium. But again, I have to ask, what about all the scenes that occur outside his presence? Like in number 2's headquarters, and is he imagining all of that as well? Is he imagining these other people watching him on a view screen? Anyway, so the episode ends kind of abruptly. Number 6 swears he will never give in to the village. The damaged teletype resumes operating, and number 2 says, then how very uncomfortable for you, old chap. And then the episode ends. Just like that. Oh, by the way, I should mention, at the end of each episode, there's this graphic that zooms into the screen of number 6's face, and then this image of prison bars like drops down in front of his face. It's kind of cheesy and cartoony. Oh, and at the very end of the episode, after the credits, we always see an image of one of those rovers, the white balloon thingies, coming up out of the water and bouncing along. Okay? You're going to hear me say that a lot in these reviews, like, okay? Because the series doesn't explain anything. It throws a bunch of stuff at you that might or might not mean something. I'm pretty sure that I've forgotten at least half of the stuff that's occurred in this episode, but yeah. Apparently, number 2 explains that the corpse that he had floated out to sea has been discovered, and the corpse will be altered to resemble him, number 6. So the outside world will assume he has died at sea. Oh, yeah, okay. So that's that. The episode ends pretty abruptly. It's very abruptly, actually, and I don't know what to make of it. Now, one thing that I got to mention, I mentioned that this is the 3rd episode in Patrick McGoohan's 7 episodes that count, supposedly. But early in the episode, well, first of all, he says he's quite new here. So a lot of fans apparently prefer to watch this episode second. instead of third. He also said he was new in Free for All, which I had watched second. But here in this one, he says he's quite new. So does it occur before Free for All? Who knows? Also, at one point, he says, I have never seen a knight. I always just fall asleep. But he had been at a tavern that serves alcohol in Free for All at night. So is that another indication that this episode should be watched before Free for All? Maybe. Who knows? Who knows anything with this series? But I did enjoy it. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about this episode, but yeah, 3 down and 14 to go. Oh, one other thing that I should. Well, let me bring up my spreadsheet that I made. So this episode, Dance of the Dead, it was the 4th one produced, the 8th one originally scheduled to air, and the 8th one that in fact did air. Various suggested viewing orders, various orders, I should say, not suggested orders, but various placements that I've seen it placed in. It's anywhere from episode 2 to episode 12. Yeah. Also, there's like 2, 3, 4, 8, and 12. 2 actually seems to be the most common. I see only one order that considers all of the episodes that places this at number 3. But anyway, so now regarding Patrick McGowan's preferred order, apparently this episode, while it's number 3 in the order of the 7 episodes that people keep saying are his episodes that count, it should be worth noting that he apparently did an interview in 1991, and it was audio recorded, and it's available on CD, transferred from tape, where apparently he gave 6 of a possible 7 episodes that he considered to count. And they differ somewhat from the list that is spread among the fandom. So his 6 of 7, it actually doesn't include this episode. Yeah. So that is quite weird. I'm not sure why, but yeah. Well, it should be worth noting that in this list, apparently the 4th episode was unrevealed, what his fourth episode would have been. It might have been this, who knows? But he apparently revealed only 6 of the 7 in this 1991 interview. Yeah. So anyway, so now that's all that I have to say. Okay. All right. So thanks for joining me, and it's 10:08 p.m. and that's it. Thanks for watching.